All right, broski, it's T-Man, and I'm back with our favorite coach, Coach Blaha. Team Coach Jason Blaha, bro. He's with Coach Nicola. And Jason Blaha discussed the 2023 Mr. Olympia versus bodybuilding when it was an art form. Oh, an art form. Okay. It's a power form now, is that it?
Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here, and I am with my bro Nico.
Yes,
We've
Jason.
been friends, what, 13, 15 years?
Getting up there now,
Right,
yeah.
it's been a while. Of
Boy,
course, you've given me props since day one. You were in my first 10 subscribers on YouTube.
Yeah, back in the old bodybuilding forum days, right?
Yeah, way back in the day. So if
way back in the day, bodybuilding forums, man, I remember in the year 2000, it was Elite Fitness. That was the forums and anabolics.com. Some of the new sites. Elite Fitness, that was new. I know the guy that was running that site. That's all they ever did was talk about steroids in there. Everybody on the internet got nuts over steroids. They had these lists where you pharmaceutical lists where you could get steroids and mail order and all kinds of stuff. By that time, it was already illegal since '94. So yeah, but in Canada, you could order it. It wasn't illegal to have possession of it for personal use.
you would like to briefly introduce yourself so that people know who you are in the context of why you are qualified to even discuss bodybuilding.
Well, I guess it goes back to my competition days, which started in 1995. I was 15 years old, and I was the youngest in the Ontario Amateur Bodybuilding Association history at the time. I don't know if anybody's beaten that since, but I continued to compete in that federation for a couple of years, and then kind of got discouraged when I was about 18. I took a big break from it, continued bodybuilding, but just stayed away from the stage for a number of years, and then got back into it in my early 30s in a couple of drug-tested federations that popped up that never existed back in the 1990s. So I thought I have an easier chance there since I was always a drug-free athlete myself. And lo and behold, my first show back was with UFE, and I won the Halloween Mayhem. And
What is he talking about? Steroids became illegal around 93, 94.
earned my pro card with them on my first attempt after a 13-year hiatus. So that felt pretty damn good.
Yeah, he was natural, all right, sure. You believe that shit, man? That was the hype of steroids, the 90s.
I continued with that federation for a couple of years as a professional, and then I switched over to the IDFA, another federation in Ontario, a drug-tested federation, and I won my pro card with that organization on my first attempt. I did a competition as a pro with them in 2014. It was the IDFA Universe, where I placed third, and the guy that won it was actually an ex-IFBB pro that then later in life became a natty, so wasn't the same deal, I guess you could say. Lifetime natties.
Yeah, when you run 2 grams a year, there are some permanent changes.
There were permanent changes, and they stayed with them.
Think until you see some of these retired.
There's no permanent changes from taking steroids. This is bullshit. Permanent maybe in women, messing them up somewhat, but they're permanent changes in what? You having muscles and stuff? No, maybe developing into a man. You know what I mean? Other than that, there's no permanent changes. Destroying your health, that's a permanent change. Yeah, but I don't know about you keeping any of this fake muscle. Huh.
Pro bodybuilders, and you're like, they don't even look like they lift. What happened?
I know, that's the guys, I guess, that went into the gym and they got on their first cycle like in the first 2 weeks, you know. They didn't have a solid base, and that's the change that you see with those guys when they come off.
Oh, so that's why they lost all their fake muscles on steroids, because they didn't have a base. You see how fake this is, this chat with Blaha? Blaha is so dumb, man. He thinks that steroids build muscles. And then he's like, oh, when they came off the steroids, they don't even look like they lifted. Because steroids don't build muscles. It's artificial. It's cosmetic. It's a cosmetic look. If you put cosmetics on your face, do they wash off? Yes. Steroids is temporary. It's artificial. It's a cosmetic look. Why? 'Cause it's artificial hormones. Your body does not create those hormones. They're fake. They don't build muscles. I think people are so confused. Testosterone, a sex hormone, does not build muscle. Now, there's an interaction with other things going on in your body, but it itself does not build muscle. Stem cells build muscles. Protein builds muscles. These things that interacting with each other, they build muscles, definitely. Protein builds muscles. Look, protein synthesis needs to exceed that breakdown to build muscle. Oh, yeah, they didn't have a solid base. They didn't have a solid base to fall back on? You wouldn't build that much muscle to begin with anyways. They call it newbie gains, right? What's solid base? These people are so out of it.
All the muscle was rented muscle, and when the rent's due, you got to pay, right?
Yeah. But you've been training, what, 30 years?
30 plus.
Yeah, it's rented muscle. Get it? Fake, sarcoplasmic, inflammatory, rented muscles. That's why I laugh at people on steroids. Every time they come off their cycles, they shrink like crazy. They do these like 2-month cycles. Like, go into the gym, I'm going to lift weights for 2-month cycle. And, and then they come off. And then they can't figure out why it's all going away. Especially on tablets. When they stop taking these tablets like D-ball. D-ball comes in tablets. Well, they have injectable, right? But they are not taking that. They're taking a lot of these tabs, some of these idiots. And then they stop and then it all goes away. And they're like, hey, where did it all go? Because you peed it all out, dude. It's sarcoplasmic. It's fake.
Plus now, I just passed 31 this past October, actually. Yeah.
So for context, I'm going to
look, man. If creatine could actually really build a real muscle, a piece of muscle, a slab of real muscle, then everybody out there would be doing it. But everybody's chasing the 5-pound creatine muscle, 5 pound of water creatine water muscles. That's garbage. That's why they give up on it eventually. Everybody gives up. The steroid users, I know all these guys in every gym. Steroid users, creatine users, whatever, supplement users, amino acid users. Eventually they all give up and then they just disappear. Yeah, and then the new batch of idiots come to the gym. The new people. And the only people that are left over are people like me walking around that actually look like a bodybuilder who doesn't even lift and looks like a bodybuilder. I don't even lift, bro. And I look like a bodybuilder walking around.
Link your social media below so that people can see what you look like. How old are you? And
I am
40 what now?
44 now, yeah.
44, a couple years younger than me. So you're 44 and you look the way that you look in on your social media. And they videos they can see. And because a lot of my guys only care about strength.
Yeah.
It's roughly tell what you lift.
Yes, I care about fake strength. I have to practice at lifting forever because if I go away, I can't lift that heavy, stupid box off the floor anymore. Just like a factory worker. Christ, this guy's crazy.
Per number, so they'll get an idea that you're not a lightweight here. You're not around 400 pounds on.
Can you imagine going to a gym your entire life to just so you could keep up with lifting something? Because you know it's fake and it'll go away. You understand? It's like a skill. If you don't practice at any skill, what will happen to it? It'll go away. How do you get it to come back? You got to practice at it. Human skill. Even your math skills will go away. Your school, everything. Do you remember anything that you learned in school? No. It's somewhere buried. It's dormant. You know, the idea of what you're supposed to do, how to get there, but it's dormant. If you don't practice at it, everything goes away and needs practice. But this guy, he just wants to stay there forever, destroying himself, Jason Blaha, and accelerated aging. That's what these things do because they stress the shit out of you.
Squat.
Yeah, I've done it a few times. But I mean, it's something I've been doing for the majority of my life too. I can say that, I'm probably as close as I'm going to ever get to being an expert in this field. And I can't say that about too many other things that I've done.
Yes, you're going to be an expert in this fake field. That's right. Yes, great. That's cool, man. Excellent. Yes.
In my life, but bodybuilding, I'm definitely an expert.
Yeah. But my strength
You're an expert in bodybuilding? What kind? The fake one or the real one, dude?
I'll respect the fact that you've pulled at least 600 pounds.
I got a 700 with straps, actually, at a competition.
Oh, I got 700 with straps. I took this drug and I got 700. I'm so proud of how fake my lift was, how fake I am. Oh, man, I didn't know people that were so proud about being fake. It's crazy.
In a gym competition last year. And that was with 5 bulge disc in my lumbar spine that I've been dealing with since about 2017. So
yeah, because you lifted something that was stronger than you, and now you got these fucked up discs, bro. How's that working for you? Wait till you get older and you start using a walker or even a wheelchair.
I was thrilled to even pull that number, and that was a big day for me.
Yes, I was thrilled to pull that and cripple myself now for the rest of my life. Down the road, it'll get even worse. Yes.
Me.
Right.
Best squat I ever did was 550. Yeah, I got a 550 before. I got a 500 beltless, and never got past the 380.
Yeah, I got a 550 and a 550 beltless, and I got more of these minute micro cracks in the discs in my back. Eventually, they'll give. Yeah.
5 on the bench, though. That's always been my nemesis.
Never got past. I've seen you rep. No. I've seen
you. Powerlifting is a type of new thing. What I say when it started coming out, the amount of damage that has been caused to people's spines because you're an upright animal. That pressure on your spine is not normal because most all animals are on all fours except for humans. So that's why you lose height during the day when you wake up and walk around, because of the compression on your spine. Put more compression on there, especially lifting 700 pounds or 500 or whatever you're crazily doing there. You're destroying your spine slowly over time. That's all you're doing. You're destroying your joints. Yeah, because you're an older person. Look, I'll explain this. When you were young, you were still growing up to the age of 25, okay? So what happens, or 24, I'd say 24, 25. So what happened was you were still growing. So if you broke a bone, it'd probably heal in like, I don't know, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, a bone. But after 25, if you were to break a bone, it will take about 7 to 8 months to heal. Why is that? Because your body, it's no longer growing. It's not growing anymore. It is aging at a pace that is astronomically slow, very minute. But you can increase this aging by stressing yourself, turning on the defense mechanisms and releasing growth hormone. That'll age you and you take on more cellular damage and a whole bunch of stuff, okay? Doing certain things that will, inflammatory responses, doing these things to your body will age the shit out of you. So your body is not really equipped for healing and repairing anymore like it did before. Muscle can regenerate, definitely. Muscle can regenerate. But if muscle is torn apart completely, I'm not talking about micro damages, but if it's torn apart completely, it's never going to heal. It'd be in perpetual fibrosis. So be very careful. You don't want to rip a muscle when you're an older person. You'll be fucked. After 25, you'll cripple yourself. And it'll get worse as the years go by. Yeah, because you're taking on too much stress, more cellular damage. You're not living a very sedentary lifestyle. You're very active, and that is your problem. So yeah, I mean, like I said, people, they don't think about these things. They don't think about it until they get there, like Ronnie Coleman. Oh yeah, I would like to go back, but he's with like he's like in a wheelchair. Great.
Rep 315. So, you know.
I can rep it out. Yeah, on a good day I can get about 6 or 8 on that too. So yeah.
And you're doing that with abs. Like, yeah.
How can anybody be so proud to destroy themselves? This great insanity.
Yes,
So context for people listening. You have a little bit of experience here.
A little bit.
So we were talking in private. I'm like, let's get some of this on camera. We were talking in private about the travesty of the Olympia and the nature of modern bodybuilding. And I know you personally do not like the incomplete physiques. I mean, obviously the extreme drug abuse is an issue for you because these guys are dying for a trophy.
Yeah.
You're all taking drugs. Don't lie to me, man.
And I mean, that was one thing that I can remember. I mean, back in the day, there was Momo Benaziza, he dropped dead in the early 90s, and then Andres Monzar. Right. But it was few and far between, where now
it's all the time.
It's not the steroids that is fucking causing them to drop dead. It's the extreme diets that they're going through. It's so extreme and carrying so much sarcoplasmic hypertrophy. It's detrimental to you. It's bad for your health. Carrying fake muscle is extremely unhealthy.
Yeah, like 4 or 5 guys a year are dying, and these are the big name guys, not just like the second or third tier pros, right? But I mean, aside from the drug abuse and overuse, is the quality of the physiques have taken a downward turn over the last year.
No, it's the bodily abuse that they're putting their body through. But it's not a drug abuse. It's drug. It's a molecule. You could take a massive amount of a shot of steroids and you won't die. So what is killing them? The bodily abuse, using the steroid, running their body down, lifting astronomically heavy weight, which is the body can't take that capacity over time, and the abuse of dieting, the way they diet, the abuse, the up in yo-yo dieting stuff. It's abusing their body, and carrying fake muscles is an abuse of your body.
Which is what we've noticed. You know, I mean, in my case, I wouldn't care if guys are going to be...
Like powerlifters, they abuse their body by lifting astronomically heavy weight by taking a molecule, steroids, like Blaha. That's why his hair fell out. He got abused so much that the hair just fell out. That's why he's got a dad bod. His bod looks like a marshmallow.
Use a bunch of gear, as long as they're getting results. That's their own body. But the thing is, again, I know you've been critical of CBUM.
Blaha is so jealous of bodybuilding. That's why he has to do this. He can't stand it that he's a genetic failure. His parents created a genetic failure because of what they were eating and what they were doing. Yeah, they're genetic failures.
But the guy's winning even this year. The lack of conditioning, lack of striations. They're just
his origins are a failure. The origins that wherever he comes from, I don't know what origin he comes from, what background he is, but that background is a failure in genetics. That's why. Maybe the whole background where he comes from, his background, maybe all of them, that's why they are the way they are probably. They're all genetic failures, so he's a genetic failure. He's part of that clan or whatever they are, wherever he's from, or whoever his background is from, whatever, man. It's a complete failure, yeah.
smooth and round.
When people like that feel they're failures, genetic failures, what do? Well, they do what he's doing now. Making you into a failure too, and his whole team.
and they're blocky, they're bloated. I mean, you see a lot of round muscles there, but they've got guts. There's no striations.
No, they don't have guts anymore, man. The guts are gone, bro.
Muscle. You were pointing out some of the side enhancement. The guy who won, Derek, what's his name?
Lunsford, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not even familiar with him. I haven't followed bodybuilding. And I checked into all this recently just to see what was going on with the Olympia weekend, and I was kind of shocked.
You were a bodybuilder.
Because you were pointing out, I think it was you that pointed out to me, yes.
He follows bodybuilding. He was a bodybuilder in the beginning, Blaha. He's lifting, always showing his body all the time, bro. He's always doing bodybuilding.
Side enhancement in his lats.
Yeah, well, it kind of looked like it, and there's pictures going all over the internet. I know a lot of your viewers are probably familiar already with those shots, and I mean, anybody who's been in the sport long enough, we can tell when these guys are using these things in certain areas. I mean, no separation between the bicep and the tricep. The square pointy shoulders that you see, it's almost commonplace now. It used to be like one or two guys up there. Now
it's everybody.
Every single one of them has the same identical, pointy delta.
Why wouldn't they? It's all cosmetic anyways. Steroids, the oil, the synthol. It's all fucking fake, man. Even the lifts are fake in powerlifting.
And the blocky round.
All the records are fake. If they're taking a drug to lift something heavy, that's like me bringing a crane. Here's a crane. I want to lift it. I cheated. Okay. Oh, but you're using a crane, so you're using a molecule. Same thing, bro. What the hell?
Looks like a solid mass of gelatin or something, right? It doesn't have the fibers, the separation.
There's no separation, and that's always a dead giveaway on the side enhancement. Usually, especially if they have, and that's what people don't get who haven't been observing this for decades, like we have, is that if they're striated everywhere but that muscle, it's full of oil.
Yeah.
So if they've got striated triceps and
God, Jason is so jealous of everybody. Who cares?
No striations in the bicep. That bicep is bodybuilding that I've always hated it. Always. I say, no, it's not always the case. It used to be an art form.
Yeah.
Always hated it. It used to be an art form. Yeah, when was it an art form? It's always been an art form. That's the whole point. He got out of hand at some point. The IFBB didn't fix it. So what?
Yes. Yeah, there was a time.
Yeah, there was a time when it was an art form, and they did look good.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah, we're old enough to remember the guys from the 80s even, right? You know,
Yeah,
they were kids, but
yeah, I mean, even though they were getting kind of pretty big at that point, even Lee Haney still looked good. It was just they were getting monstrously big by then, and then right after that, then it was the insulin era. They just blew up.
Yeah.
Dorian was a monster. He was still striated though, but he was a monster, and that was kind of the insulin era. And then after that, they just started getting hideous. You know, to where it's no longer an art form. Nobody looks good.
No, and I don't think too many.
Why does Jason try to pretend like he actually knows something? He doesn't know anything.
People aspire to even look like those guys anymore.
No.
You know, you could take a poll in the gym and in the 80s even show guys a picture of like Bob Paris or Lila Brada or something like that, and they'd be like, yeah, I wouldn't mind looking like that, or at least having, you know,
I never liked Lila Brada. It looks terrible.
Chest like him or arms like him.
Right.
Today,
they young to remember when
enhancement begins sometimes with these guys. And
what a lot of guys aren't getting with that, it's not even site enhancement oil. They're just pinning some if they're going to. And that's why you're not going to see, I think, as long as they allow the guys to be that big, the site enhancement can't go away because they're pinning so much oil just to get this.
Competition is fierce, dude.
The stuff into their body. Well, because I've seen guys who've used very heavy doses of growth hormone who don't have.
Yeah.
Because it is now a drug.
Exactly.
And it's just it's a ridiculous. I saw Dorian Yates on ESPN. You know,
right. These days, nobody can tell you who Mr. Olympia is because nobody cares anymore. I mean,
it's like I don't keep up with it.
No, and I don't think they're ever going to get that back. Unfortunately, I think they missed that window of opportunity.
That's why they brought back. That's why they brought Classic Physique.
To really capitalize on it and make it a mainstream thing, and
that helps me gain muscle.
It's later.
From her natural habitat, Effie gathers customer testimonials.
In the advent of the internet, and you'd find out the winners, but you wouldn't see pictures.
And just that whole lifestyle. You know.
But a bodybuilder.
And I think what he had said at the time was, they're not right.
No.
And that is the problem with a lot of it. You pin enough of it there, you know, or you get one batch that has too much alcohol or something in it, you'll get scar tissue that'll be there 30 years from now.
Yeah, well, you see it in a lot.
There's a lot of fake drugs that are running around out there. Be careful.
Those guys from the 90s that met. Yeah. I mean, you know, that was the look back then. That was the whole thing that boys aspired to look like those kind of men, you know?
Yeah, because that...
Boys inspired to look like those men. Fake, like cartoon characters. Okay. Yeah, and where are they going to get the money to eat like that, to get even close remotely like that?
And exactly, because those were our heroes.
Yeah.
It's hilarious. You know.
No, they weren't my hero, man, but they looked funny in the magazines. Yeah, they look kind of neat, kind of cool to look at. Big deal. I don't think you would really want to walk around being that a big bubble down the street.
Well, you obviously do look better than me, but I mean, I think they fudged it.
Look, man, I'd rather look really big and huge with real muscles walking down the street than fake muscles that are blowing up with like sarcoplasmic garbage.
Height a little. He was probably closer to 5'11" or whatever. I think they used to say he was 6'1", but then I heard it later. He was a little under that because they always like to fudge. They like to exaggerate the numbers.
Oh, sure. Kind of put the wrestling kind of twist on it too, like
they did. Hulk Hogan's 24-inch pythons, But
yeah, I mean, I don't see it getting any better, anytime soon. I mean, it's getting to the point now where it's like I don't even follow pro bodybuilders online. I could care less anymore about any of it because it's just.
And as far as even the mainstream,
it's out of favor, and so is. I don't know, bro. Bodybuilding is a lot more popular than powerlifting. You understand? It is a lot more popular, but Jason Blaha doesn't like that. See what I mean? Doesn't like that. Look at every channel when it comes to bodybuilding. They have more subs than any powerlifting channel. Why is that? Why does bodybuilders and bodybuilding and all this kind of stuff, why do they have the most subs on their channels? They're massive. Look at Omar Izov. He does powerlifting, right? But he does bodybuilding, a lot of it too. He's got a lot of subs. These other channels, he's the exception. And Blaha 113. But even what's his name, Alpha Destiny, he did some lifting, heavy lifts, but because he thought heavy lifting build a muscle. But he does bodybuilding and aesthetics. He does a bunch of other stuff. He does bodybuilding. He's got more hits because of bodybuilding. People do not want to lift a heavy shit off the floor. You understand me? They want to look good in public. You're not going to be lifting something heavy off the floor in public to impress people that, look, I could lift something heavy. You impress people with a physical dominating look. You don't impress them by lifting something heavy. Maybe on the internet or on a video, but not in public, bro. That's why it's not popular.
People who are new into working out, they're not following it either.
No,
and you know, it's mind blowing.
It is, yeah, and it's unfortunate. And
it's mind blowing to Blaha, and I'll leave that on that note, man. Like, subscribe, support the channel. Tell me what you think about that, broski. Bodybuilding, it's not popular or what? What do you think, eh? I think it's the most popular thing out there. It's more popular than powerlifting. That's why these fitness channels and bodybuilding, whatever the hell they're doing out there, is a lot more popular than powerlifting. Not saying powerlifting is bad. I'm just saying it's more popular. See you later.